Jerome, thank you so very much for saying yes to this conversation, man. I really appreciate you being here right now.
It's my pleasure. My pleasure.
So I'm excited to have a conversation with you because you're a fun guy, but you like to share. Is what I like about you, right? You don't mind. You're not afraid. A lot of people are concerned about the things. What can they say? What can they not? Right?
Right.
And I understand it. So I'm telling you right now. If there's, don't get yourself in trouble. Share as much as you can without
Got it.
without getting your wife to
Right.
yelling at you or something.
Okay.
So let's start with how many children do you have? Let's do how many children, ages, and how long have you been married?
Okay. So I have two sons. One is 11 years old. The other one is 8 years old. And I've been married. Well, I got married 2002. So that's about 18 years.
18 years.
Yeah.
Nice, nice, nice.
Yeah.
First marriage?
Yes. First
Nice.
marriage.
First.
Yeah. Yeah. We met in high school.
Oh, wow.
Yes. We met
Okay.
in high school in 1992.
Wow, 92. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
2002. So, yeah. What, with so many people, going through being divorced and second marriages and um do you feel lucky, blessed, happy that you've been able to last this long with this one person? And
Well, yeah, I do feel blessed. Um, we were just kind of talking about it the other day, and she was just saying, like, you really know me. You know what I mean? And the thing about it was, she's right. Like we were friends, for a short period of time before we decided to, become serious. And we just used to have really long conversations. Like I remember, like sometimes just like laying on the floor in my parents' house and us just talking for like hours and stuff.
yeah,
You know, I
that's
don't
pretty
know if folks still do that anymore. I guess they just check your Instagram.
yeah, long
Right.
text messages
Right.
in in 100 and what, in 130 character bursts.
Exactly. Right. you
Yeah,
know?
that's cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that like something special? It's something, it's common in relationships, right? In good relationships, that you remember, the beginnings, the beginning of the relationship. But there was just so it was just so light, and it was about talking and getting to know each other, and it was exciting,
Yes.
right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just like, those dates,
Yeah.
and I mean, I wasn't even really getting allowance or anything like that. So a lot of times she was like, buying pizza. We was like splitting pizzas and
Yes.
sharing ices and stuff.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But those are the, you can really appreciate, your relationship because you start from here and then you work your way up.
Yeah.
And you know, as a young man, when I got into my my late teens and early 20s, I had little jobs and like I couldn't wait to like take her out. You know
Yeah.
what I
Yeah. Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
To like dinners and different places and stuff because I remember her, us
Yeah.
splitting a slice of pizza.
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, so
That's pretty cool. There's something very special about that time. You know, I think that a lot of people forget
mhm.
how awesome that was, how warm and fuzzy, and how you know what how much it made sense, right? How wonderful it really was. It was so exciting,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah,
and time passes, and then people stop doing that, right? To some extent, it's just no longer there. You already know the person,
hmm,
right?
right.
But so then how do you keep your marriage, um I don't know, exciting?
I think it's a mix of two things. Um, a mix of kind of like old tradition. You know what I mean? Me kind of just like taking things that I learned from my parents, because my parents were married until my mother passed away like several years ago. But what, 39, 40 years,
Mm,
you know, and I just kind of, like I said, just took some of that old school tradition from them in terms of just trying to keep things simple, and really pay attention, to what it is my wife is saying, and really keeping,
hmm.
God in our relationship, like the center of our relationship. And then also, in terms of newer things that I've learned, just trying to, not trying to, I try not to be so predictable. You know what I
Ah,
mean? Because, when someone knows you really well,
yeah.
you know what I mean? They somewhat know what to expect, know what you like, know what you don't like. So sometimes I try to think outside the box when it comes
Okay.
to different things that I do for her or we do together.
Well, so I know you started your answer with it's a couple of things, but I think that the main thing is you're thinking about it,
Yes.
right? You're
Mm-hmm.
thinking about it. I mean,
Yeah.
you have an answer to the question, and I
Yes.
think that I find that a lot of people who are in marriages that are no longer satisfying them is because they're not thinking about the question, right?
Uh-huh.
Um, how do you not only how do I keep this alive and how do I keep this exciting still after 18 years, but many are not asking each other, hey, what do you think I could do, or what do you think about where we are? We don't
Right.
want to. They're hard questions, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? We belong to a group in our church called the Marriage Enrichment Group,
uh,
right? So there are young couples, like there are couples who are older than us, but they're on like their second marriage.
yeah.
You know what I
Mm,
mean? And then there are some who've been married for a very long time. You know what I mean? And at first, I was like, oh no, I don't want to go to this thing. I don't want to tell people our business
yeah.
and stuff like that. But turns out I really enjoyed the marriage enrichment group
Yeah.
because you get to hear the experiences
Yeah.
of other husbands, young and old, and it kind of lets you realize that, what, that feeling that I had, I'm
Yeah.
not alone. I'm not the only person that felt that way. You know what I mean? Or sometimes, this was the craziest thing. Sometimes my wife would express something in one of these meetings that it was really something that I didn't know.
Oh man.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So sometimes that would make me feel a little uncomfortable, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I would feel like, well, why didn't you
What?
tell me
Yeah.
that? You know what I mean? But sometimes it takes certain conversations to really bring that out. I'm sure I've said some things that surprised her. you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that really helps. Just being able to sit down casually with other couples, who have a wide range of experiences and just share, you know.
Yeah. You know, um, I want to go off on a slight tangent.
Oh,
Sometimes it takes a certain conversation. Yes, I mean, I believe in that so much that one of the reasons you and I are working together on this fatherhood project is because I want to be I want to be an active participant in creating those those conversations, those opportunities at the fatherhood conversation.
yes. Yes. That's true. And you do a great job. I love working with you.
Oh,
You know,
thanks.
yeah, and sometimes the gentlemen, the fathers, they get so engaged. Sometimes I think we're going to have like that flag, like, okay, your time's up. Let somebody else come in because I've never seen this. Situations where these brothers, these men are so willing to open up.
I
You know,
know.
and it's great that we have this. And I feel like we're doing a great job working together because they are opening up, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, the where I think I am. where I think I am, where I think I'm unique,
Mhm.
or I don't know, unique. What I think may be unique to me is that there is something about me that there is I appear to lack some sort of a social filter. And it's not a negative one. It's more like I think that anything that I think that may be of value to myself or to the person that I'm speaking with, I
Mhm.
don't have a problem with saying, right?
Okay.
Um, so, and then the realization is that it seems that a lot of people have a lot more filter than you know. So I feel like let me help you start that conversation, like like at the marriage experience group. Let me like we don't you don't have to go there to have the conversation. From my point of view, you can have that with your wife tonight,
Yes.
right? But the caveat being, um, it's easier after you've experienced it once before, right? In this in the group, in the setting.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, and we're all different.
yeah,
You know that we're all unique. And
yeah.
sometimes it takes people um, a little longer to kind of warm up.
Mm. Yeah, the warm up,
And
the warm up.
yeah, yeah. So it's all good.
Yeah. But I'm glad that you went. Yeah, and you were recently. I've been speaking with a lot of people who mentioned God,
Yes.
um, and I love that. I do think that I hear it everywhere. I'm not I don't know I don't know where I stand on the whole God thing,
Uh,
but I do talk to God.
yes.
But
Yes.
I do believe that there is something much
Right.
greater than me and us and
Uh
this
huh. Uh huh.
and so there's so I'm in it. I just haven't been able to put my like wrap my head around exactly what it is, so I can define it and be able to explain it.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I think that I tend to let people kind of be where they are in regards to religion and faith. I don't push it on anybody, but I share like my experience, and I share, what my relationship with God is. And I just like to tell people, I love to pray and I love to meditate and I love to just kind of have these conversations, with God. And the thing is, I say, I don't want to, just be knocking on God's door when I'm at the bottom. Like
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
you only come to me when you're in trouble.
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
You know what I mean?
Uh,
I wanna,
you
I
want it
want
to open on the first knock.
absolutely. I want us to be familiar with
Yeah.
each
Yeah.
other,
Yeah. Oh, it's Jerome. I got. Yeah.
like on The
Yeah.
Godfather, he
Yeah.
says, you come to me, my
Yeah.
daughters,
Yeah.
like, you know.
Right. 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 Yeah, and that makes sense. It's good thinking. I think but it's such good thinking because it helps you. Meaning, it's sort of a weird idea, but y- wanting to stay in touch with him on a regular basis
Yes.
because you don't
Yes.
want to because and this is something that you've made up in your own mind, but it helps you. It
Absolutely.
helps you like
Yes.
it helps you. It helps you stay in touch, which is hugely beneficial to you. And I agree with that. It is having conversations with God on a regular basis. I think is beneficial for anybody and everybody. I mean,
Yes.
I don't I have never heard of anyone saying, "What's the point?" No, no, no. So, but your idea is particular to you in that. Well, I just don't want to. I want to make sure that when I am in trouble,
Yeah.
he'll open the door right away,
That's
right?
right.
But it helps you. It helps you.
Yes.
It helps you
Yes.
today. It helps you this moment. It helps you
Right.
today when you spoke with him.
Yes.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I found out was that like after I had children, I really felt like I started to have a more in-depth relationship with God because, when you have children, and you kind of release your children into like the world. And I'm not even talking about 1920s. I'm talking about when you drop your kid off at daycare,
Yeah. Yeah.
or you
Yeah.
drop your kid off at the babysitter. You are putting a certain amount of trust in society. You know what I mean? And it's like my faith in God and my ability to
Yeah.
pray and ask God to, please let everything be all right with my children. It meant so much to me. You know,
Right. 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 Right.
so
Not just a certain amount. I mean, all of it. You have all of it. You're in essence, you're saying, I trust completely that the system in which I exist functions properly enough so
yes,
that I will see them again in a few hours. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yeah,
But I know. But the problem with the system is that it's built, by us, with us. Like, we are the ones who run the system, and we know each other. We know each other pretty well.
imperfect.
So it is at that moment, yeah,
Yes,
is because of that imperfection. Then we say,
that's right.
however, God, you mind
Right,
watching over these guys?
please.
I trust the system, but
Right.
keep an eye.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I think it's fair. I think it's fair to say, man, that it's so important. You have to do it. I can tell you something. I can tell you something about that.
Okay.
There was a time, and I don't know that I do it as I don't know. There was a time where every morning that I left the house, I prayed over it and over that my house and my children in my house would be safe until I returned.
That's how I was raised.
Yeah,
That's how I was raised. My mother, every time we left the house in the morning, we had to pray.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? And
yeah.
it's something that I try to instill in my children. Although I get more questions about prayer and
Oh yeah.
its purpose, whereas there's no way I was going to question my mother.
No. That's right. That's
I
right.
just closed my eyes.
Yeah, yeah. That's right. Yeah.
you know?
It's an abstract idea.
Yes.
It's like almost everything. I mean, everything. So much human, so much about living in a society, in a community that it's just
Yes.
made up, because it
Yes.
makes sense. Money is made up. The systems are made up. The systems are created, to
Yes.
to 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 help everybody move forward. What you hope that that they're created in everyone's best interest, but that's part of the problem, right? That we know that they're not necessarily all. So but anyway, so you need to grow up and begin to understand, and that's probably why at the time you didn't question anything, but you did
No.
it, and now you realize, oh, wait a minute, it's hugely beneficial, it's really good for me.
Absolutely.
And then, yeah, and you're passing that down to your kids.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I have no idea what my children think about this, because we don't. From time to time we have done it, especially when times have been difficult. My
Okay.
wife my wife and I have, we've sat at the table and we've prayed. Um, but we don't do it. I don't know what they think.
Well, now my children prayers are a must before they go to bed.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, definitely. And grace,
Yeah.
we say grace before we eat. But my sons, they don't even wait for me to get to the table anymore. Like,
We prayed because we were
right,
hungry.
right. My youngest one, he's like,
Yeah.
like, oh, wait a
Yeah.
minute.
Pass the meat.
I'm telling you, he'll be like on his way to the dining room table saying grace.
That's right.
Hey, bro.
Yeah. That's right. Waste no time.
Right. He's like, the food's gonna get cold.
That's hilarious.
Oh my goodness. True story. True story.
Oh my god.
Huh.
So two boys, 11 and 8.
Yes.
What's that like?
It's a blessing. It's a blessing. I'm gonna tell you a story. I don't share with many people. Um, I told my wife that she could have my kids and raise them however she felt necessary in terms of nurturing them until they turned 5 years old.
Oh, okay.
I said, when they turn 5 years old, they're mine. I
Yeah.
said, I get to roughhouse them, do
Yeah,
them
yeah.
however I wanted to do them. And there was a point in time where I felt like uh, they were becoming like kind of too mamas,
Yeah.
just too close, too, like mama's boys, like, always under mama's wing. And I said, I want to, I think it's time, and one day I was in my driveway and I was just watching them. And, you know, like I said, I was raised in the church, everything like that. But this was the first time that I felt like I ever felt like God had spoken to me
Oh,
directly, right? And it was so clear, it was clear as day. And you know what he said to me? He said, let your sons enjoy their mother.
oh.
He said, you had as much time as you could with your mother while she was here. You enjoyed her. He said, let your sons, let your boys enjoy their mother,
Mm,
you know? And I said to myself, I was like, I never ever felt that before, that message come to me
yeah.
for so direct. And then I realized, there has to be a balance.
Mm,
You know what I mean? I grew up, I had three brothers, and we used to roughhouse it a lot. We played sports, we wrestled, kung fu, rough guys,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And my mom, she pretty much gave us that space to just be boys,
Okay.
So I kind of felt like, let me, I was coaching football and basketball at the time. I was ready just, you know, and no, he said to me like, listen, let them enjoy her, let's get that balance together. And I tell you, being a dad to me is just one of the most important jobs I'll ever have in life. You
Yeah.
know, um, it's just like my life changed the day my first son was born, and I knew that my life would never be the same again.
Okay.
You know, um, and if you gotta feel like that, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's like you gotta feel like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's just it's just an amazing feeling. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I agree with you 100%. It's one of the things that I liked about what your friend Boaz, is that
Yes,
how you say
yes.
his name? Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, boy, but his name Randy. Randy Robinson. I'm
Oh,
putting
okay.
your government out there, Randy.
Okay.
Yes, yes, yes.
It's he spoke like that. I like that way of speaking. Like, like these, we're responsible for these human beings. We're responsible for these people. They're our responsibility. We have to. We have to. We have to do
Yes.
whatever we have to do. Um, um, we have to now the lens through which we see our lives must immediately change. We and but having fun with it. I mean,
Yes.
neither you nor I are saying that this is a chore.
No.
I mean, I love being a dad. I love the responsibility, but I also detest not having a dad, and that's a big
Mm,
motivator for me,
okay.
right? Like there's just no way that I am allowing these two human beings. I also have two boys, 12 and 13, and
Mm-hmm.
and there's no way that I am allowing them to grow up without a father. There's just no. It's no,
That's
right?
it.
It's just that simple, right? It's
That's
just
right.
like, yeah, yeah. You know, we're we're so important, and in our in society. I think, I don't know, globally. I don't know about every, in particular, some of the more advanced Eastern European countries. I think that they have, a good structures, family structure, but but I think that globally we all need to like really start understanding that there's a need to modify what fatherhood for the previous generation was like. I mean, we don't have to go back, 100 to 100
No.
years ago. It's just like
No.
one generation ago, everything was really, really different, right?
Yes, absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
yeah.
I'll never forget when I we moved to Harlem in 1987. and over 159th Street and 8th Avenue. And my dad came to pick me up after school, and I was with about four of my friends, and my friend asked me. He said, "Who's that?" I said, "It's my dad." He said, "No, it's not."
Okay.
I was, I was like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "It's my dad," you know. But it didn't, I didn't realize until later on, you know, that the majority of my friends did not have their dad in the house, or weren't as fortunate as I was to, just have this relationship with my dad where, yeah, he came to pick me up from school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As a matter of fact, the majority of the time that I was in school, if there was anything that had to do with school, my father was the one who showed up because he worked nights.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, my father would, if he had to come to see my teacher for whatever reason or had to
Oh,
come to
wow.
school to pick me up,
Yeah.
he was the one that was there. But unfortunately, we were moving into a neighborhood where a lot of kids didn't have their dad around. And my dad was kind of like that guy who, used to get the Yankee tickets and fill up the van and we would all go.
Oh,
And I kind of feel like that's where I kind of get that spirit from.
yeah.
Sometimes I'll call some of my son's friends, and to fill up the truck and, we would go to a movie or go to a game, one of the college games or something like that. But it's like when we watched that video, you said and the guy was talking about the father wound,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
Auto something. I forget his last name.
Yes, yes. But, one of the things he said was, even if you didn't have a dad in the house, like try to be the dad that you
Yeah.
wanted, you
Right.
know.
Yeah.
Right. So I try to take the best of what I learned from my dad, and
Okay.
try to implement that, not only with my sons, but with the other young men in my community,
Yeah.
you know. It's
Yeah.
important.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Some family members from time to time will, will comment on, how I'm a good dad despite not having had one, or have,
Mm-hmm.
or while he was around, he was, such a not good dad. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so and I don't know where it came from, except maybe, that from very early on, I knew what I didn't want.
Mm.
What I knew the kind of father I didn't want to be. So that was just, that was enough for me, right? I
Right.
just do the opposite of what my father did.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it worked
I hear
that
you.
way.
Yeah.
Don't do
Okay.
anything on what he did.
Right.
Oh my God.
Right.
Like it's yeah, that's interesting. I never thought about it. Yeah, just don't
Mm-hmm.
do anything. Don't do don't behave in any way that resembles him, and then I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Isn't that
Right.
crazy?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
having a bad dad for 6 7 years of my life was actually beneficial,
Okay.
for my children, because again, I had that point of reference of what not to do.
Right. Right. That my I'm gonna tell you something funny about my dad. He was the type of person whereas I could have sworn he went to like law school or something like that. Because let me tell you something. If you told him something, if you were someplace or you did something or you didn't do something, you better stick to that story
Yeah, yeah,
forever, because he'll ask you the same question next week.
yeah,
And if all the A's and B's and C's are not in order, oh my goodness,
yeah,
he was on
yeah.
top of you. He was on top of you. It's like he just had like this memory, man. It was
Memory.
like,
Yeah. Wow.
that was one of the
Wow.
funniest things about him. Like,
Yeah.
don't change your
Don't
story.
change it.
you
Wow.
know.
That's so interesting because, that saying, the reason I don't lie is
Mm,
because I have terrible memory.
mm,
Right?
mm.
That applies.
Look at
That
that.
you yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but that is the reason I don't lie. I'm a bad
Okay.
liar because I won't. I mean, I won't do it because I just can't remember my lies. But with your dad, you
Wow.
had to.
Oh yeah, please. You know
What?
what? It was just amazing. Like I learned so much from my older brother because my older brother, he was like, he just went through
Mm,
it.
yeah,
You know, so to the point where it was like, I just knew what not to do.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like my brother, that's why I say he was one of my greatest teachers
yeah, yeah.
because he just tested those waters
Oh
time and
my
time
God.
again, you know.
Are you the
And
second?
yes, I'm the second.
Okay, okay, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
it's not. It's good that your brother wanted to help you, to guide
Oh,
you.
absolutely.
Oh
Yes.
man.
Yeah. I mean, the best big brother, just because of the fact that, you know, he always told me, he said, listen, just watch me, learn from me, don't do what I do. You know what I mean? He lifetime entrepreneur.
Yeah,
You know, yeah. I mean, you know, he just always thought outside the box and just kind of, you know, wanted to go his own, you know, blaze his own trail. You
yeah,
know, and great guy though, great guy. But whew, high school, junior high school, those years, whew,
yeah.
rough.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What are some of the things? So you shared a couple of things that your dad did that you do as
Mm-hmm.
well. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm very cool. Some things
Mm-hmm.
that he. What about some things that he, or at least one thing that he did that you didn't like that he did that you definitely don't do because.
Mm. I think that I think that I'm more of a communicator
Mm,
than he is. I think I look to try to make teachable moments,
mm,
you know. Whereas a lot of times, my dad, he was just like to the point, short, like,
yeah.
no.
And that's it.
Like how short can you get? No.
No.
Don't ask no questions, no,
Yeah.
you know what I
Oh my
mean?
God, yeah.
Right. But you know,
That's hilarious.
I try to I try to not just say no, but try to
Yeah.
give them an explanation as to why. Because I want them to know why.
Yeah.
You know, I think they're better for it, you know, to know
They're better.
why, you
Yeah.
know, why I make the decisions that I do, you know, and
They're better for it. Yeah. So
absolutely.
it's like you're explaining why, because you're forecast, no, not forecasting, you're planning,
Hmm.
your future planning. So it's not just an opportunity to teach, but it's an opportunity to prepare, like, right? So
Yes.
'cause I do that too. When I'm teaching, I'm thinking he's going to be able to use this, you know, 10, 15, 20, 30 years from now. It's like
That's
it,
right.
you know.
You're planting seed,
Yeah.
you know, and then I don't want them to not come to me because they just know the answer is going to be no all the time. You
Yeah.
know, I want them to know that they can come to me and we'll talk about it, you know, and if they prepare, you know,
Yeah.
what they want to say,
Yeah.
maybe, you know, we can have this conversation and it could become a yes eventually. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But I just think that it's so important to just have those moments where we can communicate and have the conversations,
Yeah.
you know. It's That's just so important to me, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
That's yeah.
Yeah, one of the things that I'll never forget, you know, having two sons, when they were very young, I kept saying to myself, I can't wait until I get the opportunity to hear them have conversations
Yeah.
with each other together without me being in the room. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I just want to hear like what those conversations, like those first conversations
Yeah.
are going to be like that they have with each other. You know what I mean? And to me, that's one of the greatest things, watching them communicate with each
Yeah.
other as well. You
It's
know,
fascinating, isn't it?
it
I
is.
agree
It
with you.
is.
That is so cool when when they're
Yes.
talking to each other. It's so different when they talk to each other than when you talk, when you speak with them.
Yes.
When they're talking to each other, it's like it's such a unique relationship that for me it's unexpected. Every time I hear them talking
Hmm.
to each other, it's like, what? Like it catches me off guard every single time.
Hmm.
There's something special about the way they talk to each other.
Yes. It is.
It's also it appears so mature. It appears so
Mm-hmm.
well structured.
Right.
It
Yeah.
surprises me.
Yeah. It's I look at things. I tend to look at things as blessings. I used to have really great conversations with my older brother about different things. But I remember like when he left home, um, like he left me like a letter. like I'll never forget. Like I woke
Uh,
up and it was like a letter on my face, and I read the letter and I was like, I was this feeling of fear
uh,
had came over me, because it was like, you're the big brother now and da 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 da. And it's like, that comfort of having an older brother
yeah.
to kind of protect, and I felt it leave,
Wow.
you know.
Wow.
And me being the older brother in the house, I had two younger brothers, and I literally had to take them everywhere I went
Okay.
after that point.
Yeah.
You know
Oh.
what I mean? Sometimes my big brother was like, "Oh, I gotta take Bishop with me or whatever."
Yeah.
Bishop is my middle name, but yeah, but like I took them everywhere, and it seemed like we were always having conversations, whether it be about basketball or baseball. We used to trade cards and everything, and I so enjoyed those times.
Yeah.
Just talking to them. Like even with my youngest brother now, we have great conversations because there's 8 years between
Oh,
me and
right.
my youngest brother. So
Wow.
there are a lot of things that I'm able to share with him, that he really didn't know about my
Yeah.
older brother, or he didn't even know about mom and dad because he was really young.
So young.
Yeah. So communication is just so
Yeah.
important. And it's a beautiful thing, you know.
Yeah. 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 Well, that's pretty cool.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's interesting that he wrote you the letter because I guess he must have known that you were going to go into a little bit of shock.
Yeah. I remember not hearing from him uh, for months,
Huh.
and it broke my mother. It broke my mother's heart. I remember like I used to call the radio stations and try to give them shout outs like, yo, call home. I would call like Red Alert show or like,
No way.
yes,
That's
yes,
hilarious. Did you
yes.
get a few shout outs in?
Oh yeah, I got in a couple times, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? But
Did he ever hear them?
no, I don't think so. I don't know, it was just something, it just like he used to record those
Yeah,
shows.
yeah.
You know what I
Everybody
mean?
did. Everybody
Right.
did.
And I would think like, Dad, I'm gonna call the radio station and give him a shout out and tell him to call, but
What a great idea.
yeah, I don't think he ever heard. But yeah, it was a rough time. But I learned really quick, you know, how to kind of just be the big brother that
Yeah.
my brothers needed, my younger brothers needed. A lot of that came from him, learning
Yeah.
from him.
Yeah.
Um, and we got through it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got
Wow.
through
Wow.
it,
Wow. Um,
we got through it.
maybe next time, when it's just you and me, you could share a little bit of what happened.
Hey, no, I'm an open book.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm an
What?
open book.
I'm so curious. Why did he leave, and why did he go MIA
This
for several months?
this is the weirdest thing. Um, my older brother, like I said, he was a great older brother, but I really think like I said, he would just wanted to blaze his own trail, and sometimes structure, you know, he just didn't really like structure,
Uh,
whether it
yeah.
was school structure or the structure from
Yeah.
home, and here's the thing. He wore this was like the last straw, basically. My father had this suede jacket,
Okay.
this brown suede jacket. It
Favorite.
was
His favorite
Oh
brown
yeah, it
suede.
was
Okay.
beautiful. It was beautiful. And my brother wore it to school on Halloween.
Okay.
And they throw eggs on Halloween.
Oh no.
He got egg on the jacket
Oof.
and put it back in the closet.
With the
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So my father hadn't even seen the jacket yet, you know, but I guess, my older brother got to the point where he was like, my father's gonna kill me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So um I remember him trying to wake me up. Like he's like, Bishop, I'm leaving, I'm leaving,
Oh.
and I'm like, get out of here, go ahead, leave me alone.
Go leave.
Hey, I'm
I'm
half asleep.
sleeping.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I woke up and I saw the letter, and yeah, yeah, and one of the things that I realized about my older brother was that he wanted to prove to us, me and my younger brothers, that he could make it
Oh,
on his own.
that's
You know
cool.
what I mean? So we were like, we realized that, there was like peaks and like valleys, and when he was going through his low points, he didn't want contact
Oh,
from anyone. He just wanted to work his way through whatever he was going through. But when he was, at his peak and things were
oh,
going great, he would show up and let us know how he was doing
yeah.
or
Okay.
whatever,
Wow.
And I still think like he's kind of like that way now, you
Yeah.
know,
Was he
but
was he ever diagnosed with anything or
no, no, never diagnosed with anything. Like I said, he just wanted to create his own
yeah, yeah.
situation, his own structure, whatever worked for him. So he started a security business,
Oh, cool.
So he was doing private security for like a lot of celebrities and
Yeah.
stuff like
Wow.
that, and then started his own business where he got contracts for different restaurants and stuff like that,
Oh, wow.
you know. But yeah, yeah,
Huh.
yeah. But
So, yeah, you're please.
that
Oh,
that.
no, I was gonna say, recently you and I had a conversation with somebody about school structure.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about how I struggle with the way that schools are structured for our children. I absolutely didn't care for school. It just didn't make any sense whatsoever, and I didn't think that anyone cared for me at the school.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't I just don't remember. I mean, it was an okay place to go spend the day, but there was also a lot of sitting around,
Yeah.
that was like, all right, like boring, really, really boring.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish that here in the US one day we'll grow out of this, I don't know, what I think is definitely an outdated way of teaching human beings, like by making them suffer quite a bit.
I kind of feel like we're closer to that point you want us to reach than we've ever been
Mm.
because of the pandemic.
Yeah, right. I know.
You know,
Yeah.
listen, this pandemic has been crazy. It's been crazy for me and my family personally, but I do realize that, from a technological standpoint, we've grown leaps and bounds, you
Yeah.
know, not to mention a whole lot of my friends welcome new additions to their families.
Oh my God. I don't.
How many do you know?
That's crazy, right?
It is. I would say about 5 or 6,
Yeah.
couples that I know. And
COVID babies.
that's right.
Jeez.
That's right. And
Middle name COVID.
yeah, quarantine kids.
Quarantine kids. That's what it is. Wow. Yeah. Of course. Of course. Yeah.
So so much has changed, and I think that the we won't go back to the way the education system was. I hope that we
Mm,
don't.
yeah.
I hope that we don't. Me personally, in school, especially high school, I was really like into sports and like debate and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah. So I I made so many great friends, and a lot of the guys that I played football with, especially, we're still friends to this day.
Yeah.
All of us married our girlfriends from high
Yeah.
school.
Oh wow.
Yeah, me and my two co-captains. Yeah, we both married our girlfriends from high school. And David Rivera,
Yeah.
who's in our group. We went to high school together, and his I played football with him and his younger brother. And like I told you before, his dad was fantastic.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
always around. And but we're all still cool to this day.
Huh.
I never wanted to miss a day at school
Oh
because
yeah.
Yeah, especially if I had class with one of my teammates. Oh goodness,
Yeah, yeah,
it was so much fun.
that's
So much
funny.
fun. Yeah.
So you had a good experience in school. For you, it was good.
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah,
I was far from an A student. I was about a strong C student. Although, and
yeah,
this is for anybody out there who struggled. I struggled in high school academically because math, science, and foreign language, and it kind of kept me in that C range. But when I got to college, man, I had a 3.65 GPA.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Uh, Presidential scholar, the whole nine yards.
And yeah, and this is part of the conversation, right?
Hmm.
Why? Why was it just age? No, I think when you're in college, you there's a little bit more purpose, right? There's a little more
Absolutely.
focus, right? Like you want to be there.
Yeah.
It feels like you're taking the classes that you want to take for yourself. That these classes are going to be good for you. I think that but here's an idea. One of the biggest mistakes that the current educational system I don't know, this is just an idea, may be making, is that um, because it was compulsory, because we had to go to high school, we almost feel like we have to go to college. And so a lot of us who didn't feel comfortable in high school, right,
Hmm.
are now paying all this money and not feeling comfortable in college, when in reality they shouldn't. It's high all the way up to high school is compulsory and free, but the rest isn't. So I think that there's a disconnect in people, because it happened to me when I graduated high school. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I
Hmm.
knew that there was something I enjoyed about the mechanics of things, and so. But my mother was very persistent. You have to go to school. You have to continue, educate yourself. And I found myself at a county college doing the same thing that I had done in high school, which is like, I just don't want to be here because it doesn't make sense,
Hmm.
right? Like now I'm paying, but it still doesn't make sense to be there. I'm sitting in there as if I was in high school, because that was normal, right?
Hmm.
High school had been this is the way it is. But if somebody had said, no, 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 what you're feeling in college right now is completely not normal. You should leave. Don't finish this, because you're not going to get anything out of it. And there were lessons, but I don't think that I don't think that I got my money's worth, of course, because I was barely present.
Okay. Okay. Well, you know what? When I graduated from high school, I went right into college, and I went to a community college first, Hostos Community College, in the Bronx, New York, and I was able to get my GPA up. But in between that point and the point where I ended up in at Lehman College at 35 years old, still
Mm,
trying to finish my undergrad, was moving from college to college, changing my major,
yeah.
working full time all of the
Yikes.
time,
Yeah.
where where I had jobs that I enjoyed, but getting my bachelor's degree was somewhat no longer the priority for me.
Mm,
It became a priority again when my first son was born.
hmm.
And I said to myself, I do not want to be still trying to finish my undergrad
Yeah.
while, my son is at home and I'm missing precious time,
Yeah.
or my wife has to work full time and she's taking on the brunt of having him home.
Yeah.
Like I just didn't. So I put the extra pressure on myself to finish number one,
Hmm.
and not only just finish, but to be an example student to my sons, because I did not want to have these expectations for them to
Yeah.
achieve
Uh-huh.
and me not have
Yeah.
those expectations for
Yeah.
myself,
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I end up doing really well. And I give a lot of credit to God, of course, and my wife for being so supportive. But there's a motivational speaker. His name is Eric Thomas.
I don't know Eric Thomas.
He got me through undergrad.
Oh yeah.
His motivational speeches, I used to listen to them day and night,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
day and night.
That's
And
a
I'll
great
tell you,
idea.
yeah, and I'll tell you another story. What I used to do when I was working for the Department of Sanitation, I had an inspector's position, a lot of administrative. What I used to do is I used to work from 6 o'clock in the morning till 2 o'clock in the afternoon,
Hmm.
right? But what I would do is I would work until 8 o'clock at night.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh.
And the reason why I started working on 8 o'clock at night prior to me starting my undergrad again was because I had this thing where I felt like I was preparing myself
Oh
mentally
boy.
for the extra work that
Yeah.
I was going to have to do after I finished my regular job. So for me, leaving my regular job and going to class and then doing work after I left class for 2 hours or three
Yeah.
hours was became simple
Yeah.
because I had exercised my brain, which I always look at as a muscle. I had exercised my
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
muscle to be able to put in that extra work. And
Yeah.
that's to me, I felt like I had prepared myself for what was to come. And I breezed through it. I didn't take any
Yeah.
breaks. I went summer, winter one,
Yeah.
winter
Yeah. Yeah.
two,
Yeah. Yeah.
summer one, summer two. I didn't
Yeah.
take any
Yeah.
breaks. I went straight through, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. That's how I got my master's. You
Hmm.
made me think when you were talking about, modeling that, such great behavior for your kids.
Yes.
I have a story that I haven't told in a while. So I, I remember when I was working in the city, when I was commuting in and commuting out, I remember thinking, man, I can't believe I have to leave my kids again. I have to,
Mm,
like, every morning it was like, ah, why did, like, I had these kids that I wanted to be with, and now I have to, like, be gone for, however many hours, 10, 12 hours from
yeah.
them, away. And I just, for a while I was like, this is all I'm doing. I'm away from my kids. I'm not spending any time with them. Okay. So that's like a little bit of the background. And then I decided to get my master's. And so now, um, as I'm thinking about it with my wife, and we're thinking about, and I'm thinking, and I'm saying, and I start saying to her, well, but the thing is, if I do go back to school to get my master's, I'm not gonna see my kids for the next 3 years.
Mm,
I'm not gonna see the boys for the next 3 years. And I was like, man, I don't know that that's what I want to do. I don't know that. But so that was, that's how I felt. I was really, 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 really troubled by the idea that I was going to be absent. Not only had I been commuting for the last however many years, and not seeing them, but now I'm consciously making the decision to spend, like,
right.
so we had the so her and I, we were like, okay, fine, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and go to school, yeah, go to school and get my master's. And so, but before anything, I had a conversation with him. The four of us sat at the table, and I was like, look, guys, I got to do this because I I I I must. It's like something. This is it. Like, I have to do this, and I have to do this for myself, and I am confident that upon completion, it'll be good for all of us, by extension, or it'll just make sense.
Absolutely.
My being in a great place is going to be great for everybody.
Absolutely.
So we had the conversation. They understood that they were not going to see me because I had to work full time, and make that happen.
Yes.
So, but yeah, but in talking about God, right?
Hmm.
So this, I hope this blows your mind, and if it doesn't, it's because I'm not telling the story correctly. But so, right now I'm in the basement of my house,
Okay.
and the room looked a little different, when I first started school. But in essence, this room I was able to do to study here. I had privacy, I had silence, I had my school room. So basically, you know, every night I would come home from work and I would be in this room until midnight. Every weekend I would wake up and just come down to this room, Saturday and Sunday, those 10,
Mm,
12-hour marathons that you do. And I did
yes.
that for 3 years. But here's what I want to share with you. Because of school, for 3 years, even though I missed a lot of wrestling matches, a lot of the weekend activities that I couldn't attend, even
Right.
though even though that I didn't do that. My wife had to take the kids on
Hmm.
without me. My boys knew where I was every single day, every single evening, every single Saturday, every single Friday. My wife and my boys knew where I was. right? So in talking about modeling good behavior, um, they know that when you want something, this is what you do.
Yes.
You kill it. You go
Buckle
after it.
down.
Yeah.
Buckle down. That's right. That's
So
right.
so crazy. So what I thought was going to be, 3 years of not seeing my children became 3 years of the closest I've ever been to my kids, because they could come down and like come in and give me a hug, give me a kiss, and they go back up.
Mm-hmm.
Or I could
Mm-hmm.
take a break from studying and go up and give them a hug and a kiss and come back down. And you don't have to be on top of each other. You just have to know
No.
where it's about knowing where the other person is.
There's comfort.
Yeah.
There's comfort in that. And, there's still a sense of um, security,
Yeah.
you know. I mean, listen, I know plenty of kids that grew up not knowing where mom was
Wow.
sometimes, or where dad was sometimes. But, that sense of, like I said, that sense of security and just knowing, okay, dad's downstairs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's doing what he does. He's downstairs.
He's
I
downstairs.
mean, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. I mean, I remember doing when I was working, on my undergrad, it was like I really like the silent situation for me, it wasn't good. I needed
Oh
to be
yeah.
like, yeah, I used to go to Seton Hall library
Yeah.
because it was open to the public.
Okay.
Um, it really helped me to be in the environment of other
Oh
students,
wow. Okay.
because I would kind of feed off their energy,
Okay.
you know, or it would help me to be like somewhere in a Starbucks, and because like sometimes, when I'm working on a paper, sometimes like I would just like venture off in my head,
Oh.
and and then I would bring it back and it would help me, you
Yeah.
know,
Okay. Okay.
and but no, that's cool. I mean, I really enjoyed one of my greatest joys was having my kids at my graduation,
Yeah. Yeah.
and just seeing me, with the cap and gown and everything. I couldn't ask for a better, opportunities to just share, with them, put the hard work in and get your reward,
Yeah.
and yeah,
You were talking about what can you demand of them when you haven't done it yourself, and
that's right.
it comes into play. The other day, there's a question about somebody getting a B, and I'm like, what the heck? You literally have nothing else to do in this life other than just going to school and get your A's, right? And
That's
I
your
said,
job.
right, like this is all you do. And I said, I had a job, I had a full-time job, and I had everything else, and I was getting A's. So like, what are you doing?
That's right.
What, are you, right? So
And you and you don't have to go to a library, or
yeah,
you don't have to
that's right.
look at what encyclopedias are missing,
None
from
of
the
that. I know.
set.
I know.
It's like it's all
Yeah,
here on
it's
this
yeah,
on this
yeah,
laptop.
yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
there's no excuse.
yeah. With none whatsoever, except laziness. You're being lazy. Stop it.
Yeah, yeah,
But I do love to be able to be able to say no, no. I know you can. I know you can get the A. I mean, I got it. You can get it.
that's right.
Just and I use that as a I use it as a negotiation
Hmm.
tactic too. It's like somebody wants something, well, let's see them A's.
That's right. That's right.
I mean,
Yeah,
if you get the A's, we're good. I can make things happen. But you don't got A's, then I don't know, man. Like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
no,
Put in
right?
some extra work.
Yeah, no A's, no video games.
That's it.
You know,
That's it. I mean, another thing that really motivated me when I was in school was that I used to read about like W.E.B. Du Bois and like Frederick Douglass and
yeah,
all of these um, people who went to Ivy League schools, you know, and had to perform under that type of pressure.
yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, imagine, you know, being in an environment where you know you're not wanted, you know,
No.
the disrespect from the students and the professors, probably,
Yeah.
you know, and they were still able to achieve,
I don't
you
know
know.
how. That's brilliance. I don't know.
So what's my excuse?
I know.
You know, what's
Yeah.
my excuse?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's like, I mean, just walking home from campus must have been like,
Hell. Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I I wasn't going to bring this up because I'm not well versed in the in the I don't know African American history,
okay.
but you bring it up in what I wanted to say earlier was it's got to be real hard to be black in America. It's got to be like I was talking to I was talking to another father, and I wanted to ask him, and I did ask him, but he didn't go there. I It must be hard for you. I would imagine that you're so much more vigilant of your children's safety than I am, even though I'm brown.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if I'm being foolish because I may be targeted as easily as blacks, or I'm not. I don't think I'm targeted as easily. I think if I were black, I think that like knowing what I know now at my age,
Mm-hmm.
I would be so afraid of allowing my children to go outside.
Yeah, what bothers me the most is, well, let's just say this. Of all of the videos that I watch and um, of everything that I know about the history of, how, African Americans were treated in this country, I don't carry it around with me
Mm,
all of the time
yeah.
because it will have an effect on how I deal with other
Yeah,
people.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Um, but I'll say this: the prejudice
Yeah.
bothers me. You know, the when I say prejudice, I mean like the prejudgment.
Yeah.
Not knowing me,
Yeah.
but because I look a certain way, you're judging me, and it's just it's I don't know. It's like I just don't understand like what it's gonna take for
Mm,
us to realize that we are a human race,
yeah.
as opposed to divided
Yeah.
races,
Right, right,
you
right.
know. And I'm thinking to myself, I said, when the aliens get here, well, two things will happen. When
Okay.
the aliens get here, we will join as a human race
Yeah.
and we'll understand what it is to unite, or they'll simply treat the aliens better than us and we'll be worse than we were before the aliens got here.
I don't know. I don't know. It's a crazy question, I think. But
Yeah.
yeah, what do you can you share? Do you what do you say to your kids to keep them safe?
Um,
What
number
do you
one,
think is unique to African Americans, right? That white children, white parents are not saying to their kids.
survive the encounter.
So, really?
Survive the encounter.
Yeah.
Um, let me tell you something. I was working for UBS Payne Weber in Hoboken. Actually, it was in Weehawken. I was pulled over in Hoboken. This
Hmm.
was in 2001 and March of 2001. And I got pulled over by an officer, and he said, "Hey, pulling you over. Something's going on. Ran your plate, such
Mm,
and such. Can you wait here because there's a problem at the station house?" Waited there. Another officer pulled up behind me. Hey, can you go to the station? Can we take you to the station house because something's going on and we just want to run your Long story short, went to the precinct, right? They said, "Have you ever been to Rockland County?" I said, "Yeah, I've been to the mall there or something like that. That's pretty much it." They said, "Well, you know what? You're lying
Oh,
because it says here you have a warrant for skipping trial for guns and drugs."
wow.
So I'm like, "Officer, I've never been arrested in my life." I said, "Fingerprint me, and you're going to see that it's not me, and we can go on." He didn't want to fingerprint me,
Oh, hmm.
you know. So long story short, I ended up in the county jail, right?
Hmm.
And I was there for almost a week.
Wow.
Yeah, there for almost a week. Um, the fugitive department in Jersey City, one of the guys came and took my fingerprints and sent my fingerprints to Rockland County, and they determined that it wasn't a match. The guy they was looking for, the guy they was looking for was like 6'1", 170 pounds or something like that. And it's
Yeah.
so crazy because I thought to myself, you know what? This officer did not feel like my life was worth
Right. Yeah.
going the extra, not even the extra step, because he violated my civil rights,
Yeah.
okay, which was why I was able to sue them. He violated my civil rights by not fingerprinting me,
Mm.
by putting me through the process. You know, like he didn't mind inconveniencing me, from being from my family. Didn't mind inconveniencing
Yeah.
me. I ended up losing my job. You know,
Yeah. Oh, wow. Right.
yeah, yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
when you say, "Oh, I'm in the county jail," da da da, and it's like it bothers me because it's like you don't get the benefit of the doubt
Yeah.
in any situations. It's like, I saw a video the other day of this woman, they busted in her house, and had her standing in the middle of her living room naked,
Mm.
and they ended up having the wrong house.
Oh,
And I'm just saying to myself, like, if she was white, would they have allowed her to just stand in the middle of the living room,
yeah.
naked, or would they have been a little more concerned, about how she felt, if she was
Yeah.
scared or if she was,
Yeah.
and
Right. Right.
I just the thing that I fear the most is, my sons. They're kind of, they're big guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't want them, to be in the street, and for some officer to think like they're, you know, a grown man or something
Yeah.
like that, and,
Yeah.
and, and try to treat them like that. Like, it's just,
Yeah.
we don't get the opportunity to just, make mistakes even, or,
Right.
why does a black man have to die because he's selling a single cigarette,
Yeah.
or it's just, I could go on and on,
Yeah.
but
No, I'm sure
yeah,
it's got to
you
be
know,
hard as a dad.
yeah,
I bring this subject. I only the only story I have, thank God,
hmm
about this is, and so the exposure that I have to this idea is minimal, but it was enough to to help me understand and get a little perspective on. And
hmm
again, so what happened was, it was with Trump when he first came in, and he started talking about the Mexicans, and them being all thieves and rapists, and all the
hmm
horrendous stuff that he said. And I'm Colombian.
hmm
To a lot of Americans, we're all Mexicans. I hear it in CNN, so I hear it in the main, like in
okay,
like in mass media.
hmm
To a lot of whites, we're all Mexicans. But I'm not Mexican. I'm from several countries south of that. I'm
hmm
Colombian. My wife is Mexican, and for whatever reason, um, my wife makes a bigger deal out of her being Mexican than I make. Like, I never mentioned that I'm Colombian to my kids. It's not something that I do. Again, for whatever reason. So my kids, whenever they're asked what they are, they say, they're Mexican, and I always get angry. I'm like, no, you're Mexican Colombian,
okay,
and but you're American Mexican
hmm
Colombians, right? Like, they were
right,
born in New Jersey. They're Jersey boys.
right,
So when Trump comes in and he starts, scaring me, and many other Latinos, um, I had to have a conversation with them, and I'm like, guys, no. First and foremost, you're Americans. You were born here. You are, you can become presidents, right? Obama, we had a black president, so you guys can be president. So don't
Absolutely.
fear that. You are as good as anybody else here. Um, anyway, if anyone says anything, just let me know. I'm like, so I just wanted to let them know that I was aware that there was a thing because they brought it up to me. They were aware that there was a thing,
Yes.
and it was a little scary there. It seemed to like I forgot about it. We all kind of forgot about it, but it was a moment, a tense moment for us, for me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's difficult to think about, but I had to have those conversations, when, my son, they start asking, well, what is Black Lives Matter?
Mm,
They
yeah,
watch the news,
right,
we watch the news together. And what I don't want to happen is us to become, what's the word, desensitized,
mm-hmm.
right? To what we see. I still want there to be outrage,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
because this is not what life is supposed to be like. Not
yeah,
here in America. You know what I mean? Like my dad fought, in the Navy.
yeah,
Like he fought for the freedoms that we're
yeah,
supposed to have.
yeah,
And furthermore, we're citizens.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. For
I
many
mean,
for many generations.
yeah,
Yeah,
we're citizens. You know, um, I just think that it's unfair, and I just can't think of anything more ignorant than for people to say, well, you don't deserve this, or you don't deserve to live here, or you don't deserve to
right, right,
be employed here, or you know you don't deserve to be able to drive through this neighborhood without being harassed,
right.
because of the color of your skin,
Yeah,
you know or even take it a step further, or people who are you know have their rights violated because of who they choose to be with,
mm,
in terms of their partners or
yeah,
whatever. It's like, it's crazy. It's like we've
yeah,
got some way to go.
yeah. No, it's got to be tough to be a parent when you're black. It's got to be so scary. I can't imagine the conversations that you have to have. And like you said, you hope that they'll what was the word that you used, that they'll survive it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
We will, we will. We will survive it. They I have to keep teaching.
yeah,
I have to continue to communicate with them, and you know I hope that if the time comes where they have to pick up and be vocal,
right,
about rights that they feel were violated, I hope that they decide to do that.
yeah.
You know.
So let's switch gears really quick.
Hmm.
Some of the work that you do is helping people, helping parents who
Yes.
have children with special needs.
Hmm.
Can you
Hmm.
share a little bit about that? How did you get involved with that?
Well, I one of the jobs that I do as well is I work with the Newark Presbytery, and right now there's 34, 35 churches within the Newark Presbytery, and I'm a community ministry organizer. So one of the things that I wanted to do was I wanted to provide some sort of situation where I could gather the fathers together and we can meet. And one of the gentlemen that I reached out to was Mr. Armstrong,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Mr. David Armstrong, and he kind of pulled me in to you know the FSO, Essex County, and they just felt like I would be a good fit, for the fatherhood engagement coordinator, and it's a position that I really love because I love working with the dads, and I love having access to the resources that they could use to help them in the situations that they are currently in.
Yeah.
Um, I I I feel I think the correct word is empathy. Remember we spoke about that the other
Yeah.
day. The
Yeah.
empathy, when because we're men, we're supposed to be strong, and but you can tell that some of the dads that we work with, it's somewhat taking a toll on them, you
Mm.
know,
Yeah.
emotionally, mentally, so I feel like it's very important for number one for us to get them to share, you
Hmm.
know, what it is that they're going through, so that we can get them to a place where they can take advantage of the resources that we can offer them.
Yeah.
So I just feel like it's an excellent opportunity for us.
Yeah. It's got to be so incredibly difficult to oh to navigate the system when you have a child with special needs. It's got to be so. I mean, my God, I cannot imagine it.
I I've learned a lot about how difficult it is to do that since I've taken on this role, and you really understand what it is when you hear someone say you know they're an advocate for something, because when you're you know navigating, like you said, navigating through this system, and got to speak to this person and speak to that
Yeah.
person, and sometimes you can't take no for an answer.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's really advocating. You're advocating for your child, for
Yeah.
your son, and for your daughter. It's really something else. It's really something else. But you love your child, and you'll do anything for your child.
Yeah.
I remember when we first moved to Harlem, there was a school that they wanted to send me to because this was the school in our area that they sent most of the kids to. And it just so happened that there were a couple of incidents um, that happened at that school during that time. And my father was like, I'm not sending my son to that school.
Mm.
He told them straight up in the district office, like, I will homeschool him before, I send him to that school.
Mm.
And I think, I didn't want them to call his bluff or anything like that. But you know what? He was so convincing,
Yeah.
you know, and I ended up going to another junior high school.
Yeah.
But it's like, wow, sometimes you you see parents get out of character
Mm.
sometimes
Yeah.
because they feel like, they're getting the short end of the stick,
Yeah.
or they feel like there should be certain resources that they should have access to that they don't. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
I try to help them in as many ways as I can.
Yeah. It's nice. It's nice to hear that you heard your father, that you were present, when your father was being strong and advocating for you
Yeah,
and for his family. It's a nice example, right? I mean,
yeah.
to have that in the back of your mind your whole life.
Christmas tree whisper.
No way.
Yes,
It
2020, boy, I tell you.
we channeled your dad.
Yeah, yeah,
Your dad pushed the tree over.
yeah, 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 yeah. But yeah, he didn't hold back. He was a straight shooter. He's a straight shooter.
Yeah.
He said what he felt. And he I kind of joke with him sometimes because I said I remember with him when I was a kid, when he used to like get on the phone to pay bills, like those conversations were like hostile.
Yeah. Really.
I was like, oh my goodness, who are you fighting with? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
It's like now I just go to the laptop and okay, pay this, pay that. you know. But yeah, he's something else. He's something else.
Jerome, do you need to go? Do you have to go get your tree?
They can handle
Okay, all right.
it. They can
It's
handle it.
interesting. The other talking about lessons that we can teach. One of my children, one of my boys, um, got a bad grade, and my wife was trying to help him with the teacher to make sure that the grade was changed,
Okay.
improved or whatever. And she has started to do it on her own. And he had walked away, and I said, no, 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 wait, no, bring him in, have him sit right next to you while you're doing it, so that he can watch how this works, that it's not miraculous, or that it's not without effort too.
Absolutely.
Have him sit there. This is a teaching opportunity. He should sit there, you talk, he'll pick it up, right?
Yes.
um and I think that that's so important. I would say that, when people ask, well, what else can I do as a dad, and it's like, well, whenever you're doing anything, and and rather than forcing them to sit next to you, maybe you can negotiate. I
Yes.
think I was saying this to you the other day. If I were to ask the boys, to come, watch me change the oil, because I want to show them that on the car, they're not going to be interested in it.
Mm.
It doesn't appeal to them. There's no reason for them to, like, well, they don't. I'm sure there's kids who love it,
Some
but
kids, right?
yeah, yeah, but these guys don't. So then what I have to do is I have to negotiate, and I have to be like, well, you come, watch me do the oil, and I'll give you X, right? Like, I'll,
Right.
so we have to understand that our motivations for doing different things are different from each other. Even
Mm-hmm.
your own kids, you can't,
Yes.
because if you force them to sit there with you, they're going to resent the entire time. They're not going to really learn anything.
Right.
But if you motivate them with negotiation, you teach negotiation, right? You teach how to negotiate, and
Yes.
you both get something out of this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's I'll tell you this much. Times have definitely changed, because I'm sure a long time ago there was some, families that probably used that method as well,
Hmm.
you know. But I know, like in my house, with my parents, uh, there was no negotiating.
I get that. Yeah.
There was no negotiating.
Yeah.
I mean, if my mom told me to do something, or my dad told me to do something, or my brothers to do something, I mean, not only did you just have to go and do it, but if they heard you stomping away,
Yeah.
or if something happened to fall or a door
Yeah.
would slam, in your route to doing what they told you to do,
Yeah.
9 times out of 10 there was a problem.
Yeah.
And uh I sometimes, there are certain times when um, I'll tell my sons to do something, and they'll say why,
Yeah.
you know, and we'll have a conversation. But there are certain times when I feel like there should be a different level of urgency.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want you to recognize these moments,
Yeah.
recognize my face,
Yeah.
my demeanor when I'm saying it. Just ask questions later.
Right.
You
Right.
know what I mean?
It's not like I'm not going to tell you.
Right. Right.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I just literally a week ago had this conversation with both of them. It's like I
Mm-hmm.
said to the oldest, "Hey, do this." He's like, "Why?" And I'm like, "Dude, I'm gonna
Yeah.
explain. Just do it right now. Just and then like literally same day, I go to the younger one. Hey, do this. Why? I'm like, oh, really, man? It's like, yeah, they're not reading, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's not like I'm not gonna tell you. It's just that at this moment, it's gonna take me longer to explain it to you.
Yes.
But it's a thing that's a lesson for the both of us. It's a lesson
Yes.
for everybody. It's like, yeah, maybe they didn't read us right.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we hadn't mentioned it before. It doesn't happen that often. I rarely get the whys. I was actually surprised. I don't know. Maybe, here's something interesting. I must have not been noticing something about myself, because it happened to me back to back, on the same day. Like there
Hmm.
must have been something about what I was doing, how I was, I don't know, what I looked at, how I looked. I don't know.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I'm just now thinking about it. I must have had something to do with it too.
Mm.
I don't know what yet, but um, but yeah, it's just now that you mention it that I'm like, wait, how could it have happened in the same day
Yeah.
with both of them, right? It's like
Right.
where, yeah,
And then sometimes the why is like, okay, well, is it why do I have to do this
yeah,
now? Or, or is it a why? Like, why?
yeah,
Why am I doing this?
right,
You know,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know,
The one that I went to is it's a why, because if you don't like my response, you're not gonna do it.
oh, no,
Yeah,
no,
that's the one I went to. I'm like,
yeah,
you crazy?
that's a shut the Wi-Fi down. Why? Because if the Wi-Fi goes,
Yeah, that's it.
everything goes.
Everything goes. That's right. That's a good one. That should be we should make a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Do it, or I'll shut the Wi-Fi down.
That's it. You shut that Wi-Fi down. Holy cow!
It'd be
Remember they said the kids used to say the kids would call the cops.
yeah.
You shut the Wi-Fi down. See what?
Oh man.
Oh boy.
Hold on, I'm writing this down. I don't want to forget, just in case. Do it, or I shut the Wi-Fi. That's incredible, right? The power of,
Yeah.
yeah, they're hooked.
Yes.
We haven't
Yes.
we haven't we talked about we should this should be a theme during one of our conversations about the how addicted everybody is to screens, and it's incredible. I caught
Yes.
my oldest. I walked into his room this morning, and he had turned off his camera on his school. He was in school. He had turned off the camera, and he was on his phone. And
Oh.
I'm like, what are you, crazy? No, how can, like, that? It's disrespectful. How are you not paying attention? You don't even have to go anywhere. Literally,
Right.
you're in your room.
Right.
So I took his phone away.
Okay.
I'm like,
Uh,
that's it's nuts. It's like, but but they're also children. It's like,
yeah.
I mean, and to some extent, it's a weird addiction. It's like they've been like, it's almost like we gave them the drugs. Or
Hmm.
not almost. We gave them the drugs.
We did. We did. And
Society, parents, society, and then parents. Parents chose to give them the drugs, and
right.
now we're we're complaining that they're addicted.
And it's so crazy because I had no I really did. I just really thought that I wasn't going to have my oldest son have a phone until he was like 12, 13, 14, maybe. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? But you get to a point where it's like, okay, my wife sometimes like her phone would either never charged or in the bottom of her pocketbook
yeah,
or in the wrong pocketbook. You know what I mean? So I said, you know what? I got to get my son a phone, so that when they're all together, at least I know he'll pick up his
yeah,
phone. So I gave him like the most beat up phone
yeah,
ever.
yeah, yeah.
Like you don't get your kid like a brand new car at first, right? You get him
No,
a
yeah,
hoopty, and I got him a phone, and it's like you saw like right
yeah,
away,
yeah, yeah.
like he's like,
Hooked,
yeah, yeah,
hooked.
downloading the
Oh yeah,
apps,
yeah, 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 yeah. It's
and but
fascinating.
but the other day it's so crazy because me and my wife we were I made like some ginger shots for us,
Yeah.
right? So my wife, she wanted my son to video us drinking the ginger shots so she could send it to her mother.
Hmm.
I kid you not, within
Yeah.
5 minutes, he had edited this video, put
Oh
an
yeah.
introduction to it, put music to it,
From his phone.
words,
From his
from
phone.
his phone,
Jeez.
from his phone. In less than, I kid you not, it took 5 minutes, So listen, I got them taking like these gaming, like these
Yeah.
coding classes,
Yeah.
so they can learn because they're so into video games. I said, I want you to be more than just into the video game.
Yeah.
So I made them watch like this documentary of like these MIT professors and how video games were created. And now I have them taking like these classes on how to create the video games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay,
Right.
we can't just let them have these devices and no, let's
Right.
teach them about how they work and
Right.
become part of this
Yeah.
multi-billion-dollar
I know. Yeah,
industry,
exactly right.
right?
Yeah. It's interesting that you mentioned that because I've already introduced the idea. It was I don't know, it was a month ago or so. We were at dinner table, and I said the three of us, the two boys and me, my boys and me, we're gonna be taking a programming class this coming summer. The three of us,
Mm,
and I'm not gonna be like, you guys do it. No, no, no. I'm gonna be there, and
yes,
it's obviously all gonna be virtual.
yes,
Hopefully there'll be a teacher, someone that we, like, I'd like to see somebody rather than just like,
absolutely,
modules
right.
or. But I gotta tell you, man, I've started to become concerned that I don't know anything about programming. Like, I mean, I can build a website.
Mm-hmm.
That's not programming. I mean, it
No,
it, it 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 takes time to learn how to build a website. I can do that, but I do want to know what's behind the veil.
yes, yes,
And
yes,
I was in a conversation with somebody who knows a little bit about this. He says, look, it's a language, and if you don't practice it all the time, you really, there's nothing you can do. But at least I want to peek
yes.
behind this veil, because this is this is this isn't it, right?
Mm-mm.
Like, what makes this happen is just like weird coding.
Yeah, that's right.
And what happened was I became afraid, because like we're talking, we're seeing all these hackings, and like people can like really remote into your computer without you even
Yes.
know it, without you even having clicked on anything. It's like we're so vulnerable, I think. And when I became afraid, I got to the dinner table, and I said, guys, you know what? Right now, here's what I'm afraid of. So let's do something about it. So in the summertime, probably give them a week off from school so they can,
Mm-hmm.
game their butts off, and then immediately, like the three of us just take a class. I have to.
Yeah, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. And plus it gives you guys something to kind of, talk about and some bonding too.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
cool.
Hopefully, hopefully, at least to expose them to it. I mean, even if they don't do anything with it later on, but to have seen it, to have seen, like, there on Google, when you're on Google, you can go, there's like on the top right, there's a little, I forget what it's called, and you can click down. It's for the programmers or something. You can
Okay.
see code. Like,
Really?
just click on this thing, you can see a bunch of code, and you're like, oh, I don't know what that is. Right? I mean, but it's code. It's right there. It's like
Hmm.
it's
Right.
available. But to us, it was like, whatever. Oops, unclick, whatever.
Yes. Yeah.
Shut it off. Shut it off.
Hit the power button, right? That's how we do it. Hit the power button, start it all over.
You remember, you and I grew up. Yeah, I'm sure. Did you panic one time when you deleted something, and did you have one of those moments when you thought you deleted it, you deleted everything, and it never really went anywhere, but.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I remember that. I remember being like, early computing was, it was filled with anxiety and fear.
I
that
know.
that the single push of a button was gonna ruin everything.
Right. Or if somebody walked by and hit the plug, kick the plug out the wall
Yeah,
before you saved everything.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
That's it.
know, like
Before autosave. That's right.
that's
There,
right.
there was a time before autosave.
That's right.
If
You
you
can
didn't
lose
save your
everything.
if you didn't save your file, and you turned off the computer, that stuff was gone.
That's it.
Man,
That's
thank
it.
God for.
We didn't save it on that big floppy disk
Yeah,
that was like
that's right.
this big.
Yeah, it was decades before autosave, when the floppy was out.
That's right.
Ah, man,
Black screen with the green letters.
with the green, yeah,
The
yeah, with the
green,
green,
right?
yeah. So you mentioned the documentary. Which one was it? You mentioned, oh, the one from the game. There's a no also okay. So here's some cool documentaries I've seen. The Netflix on Netflix, the gaming one. There's a it's called it's not Game Over. It's no already no that's a movie Ready Player One. Anyway, if you look up gaming, awesome
Okay.
documentary on Netflix.
Okay.
You and I touched on phone addiction.
Mm-hmm.
Check out the social dilemma
Okay.
documentary. That one's awesome. And then you touched on this briefly, and I don't know enough about it, but I you touched on the shout out when you were trying to get a hold of your brother. And there's a couple there's this one guy, I don't know his name, who did this like several part documentary on hip hop.
Okay.
And of course right there, like I remember recording music off the radio because it was the only way to have this stuff
Yes.
for free, or at least for
Yes.
inexpensive. It was just a blank tape, and not even a blank tape, it was one of your parents' tapes for something else. You're just recording over that.
It's so funny that you mention that because today I just wished one of my good friends, DJ Ron G, today's his birthday.
Oh, nice.
And Ron G was the first guy that I ever bought a
That
mixtape
makes
from. Yeah, he's like the mixtape king, Ron G, right? I remember I was on and this guy, he also used to sell the Sunday paper. Like
okay.
when we were in the PJs Sunday mornings, you hear newspaper, paper, and he was our paper guy.
Wow.
So one day on 155th Street, 8th Avenue, he comes up to me. He has this black leather case, and he's like, "Hey, listen, I want to, I'm DJing. Why don't you buy one of my mixtapes?" And I was like, "What's on it?" He was like, "Music." I said, "What kind of music?" He's like, like music that you hear on the radio. I was like, "Why am I buying music?" He's like, "But no, I cut it up and I blended and everything." And let me tell you, man, DJ Ron G has been all over the world
Yeah,
and back.
yeah.
Yeah, he's
Wow.
huge, But that's my guy, man. Today's his birthday. Happy birthday to that guy.
Nice. He was an entrepreneur. He was hustling
Oh
very
yes,
early. That's awesome.
absolutely, absolutely. Come the
Yeah.
mixtape king, Ron G, DJ Ron G. Yep.
So good stuff, Jerome. Listen, I think we can call it a night. Thank you so much. It's always
Oh
I
man,
have a feeling that you and I can talk for many, many more hours.
you know that.
Yeah. Thank you so much
Absolutely.
for sharing so much about yourself, your life. I love the stories. Thank you for sharing about your dad, and so cool that you grew up with mom and dad. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It sounds like a fantastic family life. I'm sure you left out some of the dirty stuff.
Hey
Nah,
man,
it's
we
some of
could
the
we
skeletons.
could we could do a volume two. We could do volume two whenever whenever you're ready. You let me know. We could do volume two.
But and the one thought that kept running through my mind when you told me that Bishop was your middle name was that if you become a bishop, you'd be Bishop Bishop.
Look at that,
But
right?
everybody tells you that, right?
Yep,
That's the
yep,
joke.
yep, yep, yep.
I
Yeah,
was like,
it's
oh,
funny.
Bishop, Bishop. I don't want to interrupt. You're not a bishop, are you?
No,
Bishop?
I'm an elder.
Oh, okay.
I'm an elder.
Okay.
So I told my wife I'm an elder bishop.
There you go. It works. It still works. Very
Yeah.
good, Jerome. Well,
My
thank you so
man.
much. Hey, don't leave me, but say goodbye. Um, so,
Hey
as
everybody, I enjoyed doing this. This was amazing. This was
yeah,
amazing.
yeah, thank you so
Yes.
much. I'm sure that I say this every time. There's a cross section of the population that completely connects and identifies with you, and
Hmm.
they're going to benefit immensely from hearing you. Hearing everything that you said. You are going to make a lot of people's lives better and their children's lives.
That's what I want to do, man. I want to leave a footprint,
Yeah,
you know? I
yeah,
want to leave a footprint. And hopefully, we can help some people. And I know you're helping people already. But anything I can do, I want to do it.
awesome.
That's what legacy is about.
Yeah.
Right?
All right. Good night.
My man, appreciate you.